track. He is locked in on speed, as is Mike Bliss, who will go out second. And now you look at the drivers who must qualify on speed. There are 13 go-or-go-homers here this weekend. David Stremme, the quickest of those in practice. Tony Raines, the slowest, Larry.
Yeah, the 5 that would be in jeopardy based on practice of not making this show would be Tony Raines, Scott Riggs, Robbie Gordon, Andy Lally, and David Starr.
Yes, they were the 5 slowest in that particular group earlier today. In practice, Scott Wimmer was, in fact, the slowest in that session at 30.876 seconds, and that is why he will be the first on track. Now, he's driving the 7 car. Robbie Gordon owns that car, but he's trying to qualify the 77, trying to put 2 cars in the show this weekend.
Yeah, the 7 is locked in. Scott has made a couple of starts in this car for Robbie Gordon at Dover back in the spring, and then a few weeks ago at Pocono.
And Wimmer does have 7 starts here in nationwide competition, 5 resulting in top 10 finishes. In fact, he was a runner-up here in 2008 driving for Richard Childress.
And I was going to say, he almost won that race. Yep. He ran incredibly well that night. I mean, that was a good race for him.
First lap 31.09. I'm anxious to see what we see here in the Sprint Cup Series. If you go back to Nationwide Series qualifying, and it looks like possibly Scott's going to shut it down, most of those drivers ran 2 laps. It was kind of a mixed bag as to what lap was the quickest. But what you have to remember, these Sprint Cup Series cars, they have almost a 30-point lower rear end gear, plus about 200 more horsepower to get them up to speed.
Yeah, and that's the deal. The Nationwide cars going through the corner, their corner speed, I don't think it's hard to explain to a viewer sitting at home that the corner speed on a Nationwide car is almost faster than the corner speed on a Cup car. But these guys, their straightaway speeds are so much greater, and you get the good out of the tire when you get to the corner so much faster with these Cup cars.
Larry, you talked about the advantage of going out late in the session because the sun going to be going down, track going to cool off. Scott Wimmer, 31.094 compared to a 30.87 in practice. A little bit slower for him.
Yeah, I think this is the, you know, as far as today, now yesterday during that 6 hours of testing that all these drivers participated, it was very hot and sunny, but it's more relative to what they did earlier today.
Mike Bliss, the 2nd car on track for qualifying. He is in the Big Red Ford. There's also a Big Red Chevrolet and a Big Red Toyota here this weekend, driven by Dave Blaney and Mike Skinner.
Now, Mike won the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series race here back in July of 2002, same year that he won the championship.
And if he will make his 5th start in 2011, because we know he is locked into the field. That 32 car inside the top 35 in owner points. He and Terry Labonte have been sharing time behind the wheel.
I think this car is certainly proof that if you finish the races and you can every once in a while click off a top 20, top 25 finish, that you can pretty much stay in the top 35.
Yeah, I think it is. I think, you know, the Wood brothers had a great run at Daytona and got those 42, 43 points. And even though they weren't running for the championship, Trevor wasn't, the car owner gets those points, and that's the top 35. And they have stayed and hovered right there at the top 30. They've had some decent runs besides that, some top 10 or top 15, excuse me, top 20s. But it's allowed them to keep, you know, 2/3 of the way through the season and stay in that top 35.
First lap, the quickest, 30.86, and that's a tick better than what Bliss ran earlier today in practice.
NASCAR Race Day rocks Kentucky. Kevin Harvick and Joey Logano join us live. Plus, fresh off his Daytona win, we'll analyze the roller coaster career of David Reagan. NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot, Saturday at 4:30 Eastern, live on Speed.
The American Garage. The temple of the tune-up. The Taj Mahal of overhaul. More of them count on AutoZone parts than ever before. But parts are just part of what we do. Our trusted advice and helping hands approach is everywhere. So, whether it's his place, her place, or the pro's place, parts are just part of what we do.
Get in the zone!
AutoZone.
This is Larry, whose long day starts with arthritis pain. And a choice. Take Tylenol arthritis and maybe up to 6 in a day. Or choose Aleve and 2 pills for a day free of pain. Happy chopping.
Some people think Allstate only protects your car. Here's the truth. Allstate can also protect your home or apartment, as well as your boat, motorcycle, RV, and snowmobile, and even your retirement and your life. Not many insurance companies can say that, but Allstate can. Now that you know the truth, know this. The more of your world you put in good hands, the more you can save. Dollar for dollar, nobody protects you like Allstate.
Water was meant to be perfect. Crisp, clear, untouched. That's why there's Brita, to make the water we drink taste a little more perfect. Reduce lead and other impurities with the advanced filtration system of Brita.
Finding free, officially licensed NASCAR merchandise and gear just got easier. Simply visit NASCAR.com/hologram and enter your official NASCAR hologram code for a chance to score free gear and more great NASCAR offers, or for your shot at a VIP experience.
Two cars have been on track for qualifying here at Kentucky. Mike Bliss and Scott Wimmer, 1 and 2 on the board right now. In the third man out, Tony Raines, the first of 9 consecutive drivers that will take time and must qualify on speed. Raines won the pole here in 2002 for the nationwide race and won the 01 Truck Series event, the second ever held here at Kentucky Speedway.
Just not sure about a 30-95. I think we're going to have to see a few more drivers run before we feel really good about that type of a lap. I think you need to be in the 30s.
30s,
sure.
yeah. I think you need to be in the 30s. But, you know, really, and you mentioned it earlier, and you just did the nationwide qualify. It's warmer now than when these guys practiced. The sun has come out. It was overcast, and we kept thinking bottom's going to fall out any minute during the single practice that they had for these guys.
First lap for Tony Raines was quickest. He stays second behind Mike Bliss. And you talk about that sunshine, a couple of tenths slower in his qualifying run is Tony Raines in comparison with what he did in practice earlier today. Next on track, the 81 of Scott Riggs, another of the drivers that is in the go or go home category. Told you Scott has got a nice resume here at Kentucky. Former pole winner here, Truck Series winner here.
They were not out our last 2 races at Daytona and Infineon. They missed the first 2 races they showed up at Dover, or the first 3 at Darlington, Dover, and Charlotte, but then they qualified for the next 3.
But honestly, Darlington, Dover, and Charlotte are 3 of the hardest races to make, period.
Very
so
tough.
To show up as a first year, to bring a car there for the first time, that's a huge undertaking.
And as Scott Riggs makes his qualifying run, we hear from Ralph.
Actually, we're going to talk to David Gilliland here, who's actually won here in the Nationwide Series. So we know how to get to victory lane. How do you qualify here?
You know, the track's really rough, and you just got to manage the bumps, I think, is the biggest thing. You know, whenever you go and try and qualify, you know, you're pushing everything to the limits, and the bumps seem to feel bigger. So I'm excited about it. Our talk about Ford Fusion's really good as a backup car. We had a right front shock issue yesterday, and got in the fence with our primary car, but the car's been good. We had to do mostly race trim stuff, so we did 1 qualifying run at the end. So I'm really anxious to get out there and see what we have. I feel like we're going to have a good car here.
All right, David Gilliland's getting ready to go, and we'll head back upstairs.
A little bit high there in 1 and 2 on his second lap, but he's the fastest of the 4 that's gone so far, just barely.
Yeah, he beat Mike Bliss by 3/1000ths of a second. Who knows? That could be the difference between making this race and going home.
Yeah, you certainly get the feeling that for those guys that must qualify on time, the difference back in there is not going to be much. Riggs quickest on his opening lap. He's the fastest of the 4 that have been out.
Is it so wrong for a man to love cars? In some states, maybe. But I don't care. I'm a gearhead. That's why I'm hosting the Car Show, where we talk, live, and breathe everything cars.
The Car Show, coming Wednesday to Speed.
For 125 years, Sunoco's been fueling victories on and off the track, which is why each year we bring you the Free Fuel 5000, giving away thousands of gift cards and giving one lucky driver 5,000 gallons of free fuel. Just get a Sunoco decal, get spotted with it, and you win. Why are we giving away so much?
Because winning is the greatest feeling in the world.
Is your computer running slowly?
A few keystrokes and a couple clicks. That's all it takes to become an organ donor. 90 seconds of typing could change someone's life forever. The power to save a life is literally in your hands.
We are the face of Comcast.
I'm a perfectionist. At least I try to be.
At Comcast, we solve problems.
If we don't resolve the problem the first time,
we'll extend a courtesy service to our customers.
You're a customer, you deserve it.
If you're a new customer and you're not satisfied with our services,
you can get your money back in the first 30 days.
It's a phenomenal thing to offer to our customers.
We're only as good as our word. And our word is good.
Whether it's getting you a $20 credit if we're late or 30 days to try us out, at Comcast, we're all about the customer. And that's always guaranteed.
The fifth car on track for qualifying here at Kentucky. And this 77 car must get in on speed. Scott Wimmer already went out and qualified the 7. Another car owned by Robbie, but it's locked in.
Good corner there.
Did a nice job in 3 and 4. He eased her down in there. He let it roll a little bit. Then when he picked the throttle up, he was able to stay in it.
Yeah, it's and you know, we talk about this a lot of time on mile-and-a-half racetracks, that you can overdrive the corner. And it didn't. If you watch the tracker, when he got to the corner, he rolled out of it and got back to it hard, and it stuck.
Elliott Sadler, that sat on the pole for the Nationwide Series, he must have lost 6 or 7 spots getting into turn 3, but he gained her all back and then some and got the pole a while ago.
The opening lap for Robbie Gordon, 30.73. And lap number 2, a bit slower.
2 good laps.
78. Yeah, that was solid. As consistent as we've seen. So Robbie Gordon is now quickest. Matt?
Adam, you can definitely feel that the money cloud has disappeared in a 30.86. You think that's going to be safe, Scott?
Well, I don't think it's safe at all. I think we struggled a lot with this car this weekend and changed a lot of wholesale changes, geometry changes, trying to find out what we need. But, you know, what we're doing, like I said before, is tough. Considering the kind of competition we're up against, and trying to make these shows gets tougher and tougher every week. So we just need to take this as a grain of salt and keep going on. I don't think it's going to be good enough, though. Guys have got to go.
The good news for the go-or-go-homers, we've been talking about the weather cooling down. All of the go-or-go-homer drivers go in the first 19 cars, so that doesn't give anyone a huge advantage.
And that's good, because you're going against your competition, and it's head-to-head. You know, it's one-on-one almost. So that does make it. If you do go home, you don't feel as bad that the weather beats you, or the draw beats you, or your practice this morning beats you.
Andy Lally raised everyone's eyebrows last week with that qualifying run at Daytona. Started 7th. He's only missed this year coming at Charlotte in the Coke 600. A DNQ, but he's made all the others, and this team right now 36th in owner points. So some big-time incentive to be racing this weekend and a chance to get back in the top 35. And so far, he's on the right side of the needle here.
Oh, this is going to be a great lap. I mean, right now, when you look right here in this corner, I mean, he's almost 3/10 on track to beat Robbie Gordon.
And that was a nice lap. But that 3 and 4, he was really good. He's been lower than we've seen anybody, even though these guys are talking about running in the middle of the racetrack. He got back to the throttle pretty quick in 3 and 4 there.
I believe if I was Doug Richard, I'd be calling my man off the racetrack, saying that's good enough. That'll definitely get him in.
You know, he's 3/100ths of a second off what he ran in practice earlier today, and that's as close as we've seen anyone with this warmer racetrack. Andy Lally going to go for a second lap, and if it holds serve like all the others, it will be slower, and indeed it is by a ½ second. But right now, the first lap for Andy Lally has him at the top of the board.
Sunday, the treacherous corkscrew awaits.
Big action there.
really aggressive driving by both of those guys.
The Rolex Sports Car Series from Laguna Seca, Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, only on Speed.
The New Hampshire Motor Speedway tickets are in! Yes! Yes!
You see, it's more than just a ticket. It's total access to an unforgettable experience. NASCAR is coming soon to New Hampshire Motor Speedway for the Lennox Industrial Tools 301. Put a little fun in your mailbox. Buy your tickets now.
Green flag.
Looking for something that takes you from this to this? Then call the Motorcycle Technology Center. MTC is a challenging 9-month career training program. At MTC, it's personal. The instruction, the tools, and the equipment. It's what you need to diagnose and repair motorsport engines, brakes, suspension, and electrical systems for dealerships and custom shops across the country. Be part of something different. Call MTC today. It's more than just a career. It's who you are. Call right now.
Call MTC at 800-833-8064.
Okay, you know you're gonna need new tires. It's inevitable, right? So why not get them from TireRack.com? With TireRack's online research tools, you'll know you're getting exactly the right tires for you, your car, and the way you drive it, all at a great price. Don't just change your tires, change the way you buy tires. The biggest selection of tires. One more way Tire Rack is revolutionizing the way you buy tires. TireRack.com. Research, buy, deliver, install.
With enough talent and dedication, any of these race cars can take a NASCAR home tracks driver wherever they want to go.
7th car on track for qualifying, David Starr, trying to make his 3rd start of the year. And at the line, he is 5th of the 7 cars that have been out and 4th of 5 in the go or go home category. His numbers a 30.86 on the opening lap, and he is digging for more down the back straightaway.
And right there we have Scott Riggs at an 8.60. Mike Bliss, of course, he's locked in at an 8.63. David Starr's lap right there, 8.69. Yeah, David has showed up for 2 races this year and qualified for both of them at Texas and then for the Coke 600 at Charlotte. Looks like he's going to be quite a bit slower on lap 2.
And the nerves will set in as he waits and watches the other go or go homers make their qualifying runs. Ralph?
Jamie McMurray's getting his helmet on, getting ready to go do some qualifying. All right, Jamie, we've had some pretty wild weather, rain, sun, more rain. What are you thinking for qualifying? How are you going to approach this?
Well, I see the clouds are starting to roll in, so it would be nice if that could get here before we go out. We've had a really tough weekend. The car just hasn't had the pace that we've needed, so I felt like the 42 is pretty good, so we put some of their stuff in for qualifying here and hope to catch a cloud and just put a good lap in.
All right, he's going to continue to get buckled up. The sun is just hovering over the front stretch grandstands, but all the clouds are coming from turns 3 and 4, and they're headed kind of this way, guys.
And Kyle, you know, you can just hear it in his voice, the frustration. And I think that's frustration from all year long, not just from yesterday and today.
No. I think it builds up because every week as a driver, and you know this as a crew chief, every week you go to the racetrack thinking, this is the week we turn it around. This is the week we turn it around. And when you get there and you spend a day like yesterday, where you have an open day to come and throw a million things at it, and there's no time limit, and you're still not close, you've got to be frustrated.
McMurray, one of 7 drivers that won a race a year ago that has not gone to victory lane this season. In fact, he's only had 1 top 10. And now we look at TJ Bell off of turn 4 in his opening lap of qualifying.
Yeah, he didn't get through 4 or get off of 4 very good. It's still a good solid lap for him. He ends up 4th quickest at another 38.60. In fact, that ties Scott Riggs.
TJ Bell, like the other go or go homers, staying in it down the back straightaway.
Right now, he's a little bit better on this second lap than lap 1, which I think he certainly needs to be. Yeah, he's definitely going to pick up here on lap 2. Picks up over a 10.
Yes, he did. 30.73, the lap of record for TJ Bell, and that will lock Andy Lally into the race. Tonight, the biggest party in racing hits high gear in the Bluegrass State. Tune in as Daytona 500 winner David Reagan and track owner Bruton Smith join the fun. Don't miss NASCAR Trackside from Kentucky. It happens tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern Time, only on Speed. The 9th car to roll on the track in qualifying, Michael McDowell. Got an ARCA win here at the Kentucky Speedway back in 2007.
It's the first driver we've seen that didn't leave pit road like they stole it, you know, grabbing gears. He actually buffed his tires a little bit through 1 and 2.
And we saw that. I think we saw that in the practice. There were 2 or 3 teams that went out and scuffed their tires. Just went out and run them down the backstretch or run them through a corner just to knock the glaze off of it, as we used to say.
Yeah, because this tire does not seem like it has a ton of give up there.
There are 13 go-or-go-homers here today. 6 of them have taken time. Michael McDowell becoming the 7th of those. 5 drivers will go home. We do know Andy Lally is locked into the field.
Well, McDowell's on a pretty good run here. In fact, it looks like he may lock himself in on lap 1. And I'd say the next word you'll hear will be, that's good.
Shut it down. Michael McDowell to the top of the board. There it is.
Perfect call. Perfect call.
30-37 for Michael McDowell. 9 of 48 drivers have taken time.
Is it so wrong for man to love cars? In some states, maybe. But I don't care. I'm a gearhead. That's why I'm hosting the Car Show, where we talk, live, and breathe everything cars.
The Car Show, coming Wednesday to Speed.
Dad, why are you getting that? Is there a prize in there?
There's a prize, all right.
Inside every box of Cheerios are those great-tasting little O's, made from carefully selected oats that can help lower cholesterol.
Is it a superhero?
Kinda.
Experiments fail. Technologies fail. Failure is part of life. Fram filters are tested beyond any conditions you'll ever encounter to help make sure failure is not part of your engine's life. Fram, don't fail your engine.
We now offer phone service.
We are the face of Comcast.
I'm a perfectionist. At least I try to be.
At Comcast, we solve problems.
If we don't resolve the problem the first time,
We'll extend a courtesy service to our customers.
you're a customer, you deserve it.
If you're a new customer and you're not satisfied with our services,
You can get your money back in the first 30 days.
It's a phenomenal thing to offer to our customers.
we're only as good as our word. And our word is good.
Whether it's getting you a $20 credit if we're late or 30 days to try us out, at Comcast, we're all about the customer, and that's always guaranteed.
Travis Quapple heading back to the garage with a big smile on his face. He is currently 3rd, and that will lock him into the field behind Michael McDowell and Andy Lally, and Lally with Matt Yoakum.
And he just dropped down to 2nd, but the stress is off. Conditions played into your hands.
I think they did. Obviously, with the sun coming out and soaking into the track a little bit more, it got a little free. We were a little tight in practice. Doug, Richard, and the guys from TRG Motorsports, it's great. The stress has been huge because we got Cool Works Cup on board on this weekend, and to have a new sponsor, if we didn't make the race, obviously it would have been horrible. But this is the most amount of guys I've had to out-qualify before. But this team put it together and gave me a good car. We were sweating it in practice just before qualifying here, and boy, what a relief. Big thanks to TRG Motorsports. I know all our guys that are racing in Lime Rock, Pompelli and Eversley and Buckler and Steve and the guys, Duncan and all the guys out on the West Coast there. It's a big weekend for TRG, so to make the race is huge. So.
Now the sun's out, guys, on the front stretch, but there is a very dark and ominous cloud covering turn 3. Could get interesting.
J.J. Yaley about to put his time on the board, and he goes third and locks himself in. How about a 30.61? And they're going to tell him what, Larry?
That's good. And they better tell him quickly.
Quickly. Yeah.
Real quickly.
Real quick on that one, man.
JJ locking himself into the field means Tony Raines will go home. He does not qualify for the Quaker State 400.
NASCAR Race Day rocks Kentucky. Kevin Harvick and Joey Logano join us live. Plus, fresh off his Daytona win, we'll analyze the roller coaster career of David Reagan. NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot, Saturday at 4:30 Eastern, live on Speed. July 16th, the Trucks invade Iowa for an all-out battle in the Hawkeye State, where one wrong move can be disastrous.
Oh, contact!
The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series from Iowa, July 16th at 7:30 Eastern, live on Speed.
Kyle Busch! Let's do this! Let's do this!
That's how you do a donut.
They want you to come to the conference room. Jeff, come to the conference room.
Okay.
What would you do with your favorite driver? Enter your design at toyotaracing.com.
We now offer phone service.
Cook up a new kitchen. Say I do to the perfect wedding. If you can picture it, you can do it with the U.S. Bank Home Equity Line of Credit. Apply today at any U.S. Bank branch, usbank.com, or call 888-444-BANK. U.S. Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
We are the face of Comcast.
I'm a perfectionist. At least I try to be.
At Comcast, we solve problems.
If we don't resolve the problem the first time,
We'll extend a courtesy service to our customers.
you're a customer, you deserve it.
If you're a new customer and you're not satisfied with our services,
You can get your money back in the first 30 days.
It's a phenomenal thing to offer to our customers.
we're only as good as our word. And our word is good.
Whether it's getting you a $20 credit if we're late or 30 days to try us out, at Comcast, we're all about the customer, and that's always guaranteed.
To qualify this afternoon here at Kentucky, his opening lap had him outside the top 10. Nice recovery on lap 2, 30.61. Puts David, who is locked into the field third right now behind Michael McDowell and Andy Lally.
You know, we interviewed David earlier. He won the NASCAR Nationwide Series race here in 2006. No question, that was a career maker for David Gilliland. It led him to get that ride for Robert Yates Racing.
It was like, who is this guy? He wins that race, and all of a sudden, a star is born, and he's really done a nice job of hanging around ever since.
Well, and I think the fact, Kyle, that he did it in equipment that he was not expected to perform in.
That was the big surprise more than anything else that day, was the team that won. He is a driver, that was big, but he is that whole group was a big deal.
McMurray on track, coming to the green flag for his qualifying run as we check in with Ralph.
With Clint Boyer. All right, how are you approaching the qualifying session here based on the amount of knowledge you've been able to gain?
Well, A, I'm hoping we get it in, but B, I'm hoping those clouds at least get close enough to cool it down a little bit. Our Cheerios, Hamburger Helper Chevrolet's been okay. Not great by any standards, but, you know, I feel like we could probably better our position a little bit in qualifying here if I can get myself a good lap in. But it's just been a long couple days for us. You know, long test session yesterday. Just really couldn't find a good handle on the car. Today was a little bit of a struggle, but the good news is we had time to go through so many things. Now it's time to go back, let the engineers go through their little computers and find us a good practice for tomorrow night.
All right, he's going to go follow the car up to the line. And again, Adam, everybody watching those clouds creeping in off of 3 and 4.
Jamie McMurray, Ralph, able to qualify in the third position. 30.56 was his time.
Sunday, the treacherous corkscrew awaits.
Big action there. Really aggressive driving by both of those guys.
The Rolex Sports Car Series from Laguna Seca, Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, only on Speed.
Is it so wrong for man to love cars? In some states, maybe. But I don't care. I'm a gearhead. That's why I'm hosting the Car Show, where we talk, live, and breathe everything cars.
The Car Show, coming Wednesday to Speed.
It's Christmas in July at Aaron's, and your present is a $50 Aaron's gift card. Use it to take $50 off anything you buy or $50 off your first month's payment. But hurry, Aaron's Christmas in July ends July 31st. So go to Aaron's.com/July and get your Aaron's gift card today. And remember, when you want a guaranteed low price on name brand furniture, electronics, appliances, and computers, you don't need credit. All you need is Aaron's.
Here's a myth. You get nothing for driving safely. Truth? At Allstate, you get a check in the mail twice a year, every year. You don't have an accident. The Safe Driving Bonus Check. Dollar for dollar. Nobody protects you like Allstate.
Classic Industries, America's first choice in restoration and performance parts for Camaro, Firebird, and Trans Am, Nova, Impala, GM trucks, and Mopar. The largest inventory, fast shipping, and low price guarantee. For a free catalog, call 1-888-46-CATALOG.
Max and his son made their way homeward bound when mischievous rain dropped down, down, down. Safety was threatened by every roguish drip. They slipped and slid. They couldn't get a grip. Then along came the Michelin Man, reminding them the right tire changes everything. So with Michelin tires, rainy days weren't so tricky. Stop up to 29 feet shorter than a leading competitor with the Michelin tire. Michelin, a better way forward.
Qualifying continues here at Kentucky. Mike Skinner, as you see, currently second, 30-39, equating to 177 and some change. So he is in the field. We told you Tony Raines will go home, and now David Starr joins him in that category. They failed to qualify. The man on the bubble now is Scott Riggs. He will wait to see his fate as Dave Blaney goes on track. And Dave is locked into the field. He was 15th, excuse me. He was 28th in practice earlier today.
He got in there and picked up the gas. It bobbled just a touch, but not really that much right there when he took 3 and 4. And he's running in the middle of the racetrack. And it's funny, during that practice, you heard guys talk about what's surprising about this place. And some of the drivers said, I'm surprised it's as bumpy as it is, and I'm surprised we have to run as high on the racetrack as what we are in practice. Because I think everybody assumed they would come back up here to the way it used to be when we tested and run right back on the bottom of the racetrack.
Well, looks like this is going to be a great lap for Dave Blaney. He'll go to the top at a 30-32, beats Michael McDowell by half of a tenth.
So Dave Blaney, the new leader, with 15 cars having taken time in qualifying here at Kentucky.
NASCAR Race Day rocks Kentucky. Kevin Harvick and Joey Logano join us live. Plus, fresh off his Daytona win, we'll analyze the roller coaster career of David Reagan. NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot, Saturday at 4:30 Eastern, live on Speed.
The truth? It's big, baby. That's the truth. 23 knockouts, and wins big, too. That's the truth. So when the Truth heard DirecTV was offering the biggest, most popular TV package at the best price ever, let's just say the truth was a knockout when he sees one.
That's the truth.
Now, get the best offer of the year, baby. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
The American Garage. The temple of the tune-up, the Taj Mahal of overhaul. More of them count on AutoZone parts than ever before. But parts are just part of what we do. Our trusted advice and helping hands approach is everywhere. So, whether it's his place, her place, or the pro's place, parts are just part of what we do.
Get in the zone.
AutoZone.
At Bayer, we're reinventing aspirin for pain relief with new extra-strength Bayer Advanced Aspirin. It has microparticles, enters the bloodstream faster, and rushes relief to the site of pain. It's clinically proven to relieve pain twice as fast. New Bayer Advanced Aspirin.
Just because I'm a car guy doesn't mean I don't care about the environment.
I also care about doing things right.
And what I'm leaving behind.
Valvoline Next Gen, recycled oil made from a breakthrough process to exceed industry standards. See how Next Gen recycled oil is better than new oil. Go to Valvoline.com.
Hey, Kurt, it's Kyle. Hey, you got a minute?
Not really. Kind of busy.
You have got to check out the new NASCAR.com race view. I mean, these new virtual graphics make my car look almost real. Did you know fans can customize this to follow me all race long and listen to my in-car audio? And now my fans can even watch you try to keep up with me in the new head-to-head view. I mean, how cool is that?
Check out the brand new and dramatically improved race view, only at NASCAR.com.
Kurt, hey, Kurt.
16 cars have now been on track for qualifying at Kentucky. The most recent, Joe Nemechek, who qualifies into the field at 30-35. He is second behind Dave Blaney, and that sends Scott Riggs home. So far, Riggs, David Starr, Tony Raines failing to qualify for tomorrow night's Quaker State 400. And the next to last go-or-go-homer on track now, Michael Waltrip taking time.
Looked pretty good right there. Get down in the corner good. Right in the middle of the racetrack.
If you look right there, the tracker looks good. In fact, he's about a tenth of the good right now. Michael Waltrip would absolutely be a driver that wants to see this qualifying session completed. You heard Clint Boyer a little concerned a while ago. Michael wants to see it go all the way.
And if it goes all the way, Waltrip will be in. 30-15.
That will send T.J. Bell, who ran that 30-86, that will send him to the house.
And that puts Robbie Gordon's second car on the bubble. Ralph?
All right, down here with Dale Jr. getting his helmet on. Dale, how are you gonna, he's gonna crawl in here. We're gonna let him get in first. And they're gonna have to strap him in here. We were just talking about the weather as we were taking a look off at turn 3 and 4, and boy, the clouds were definitely creeping in and the wind has picked up, and as you can see, Dale's got a unique paint scheme that he's running here this weekend, this Diet Mountain Dew paint scheme. We're going to jump in here real quick and ask him about it. Dale, tell me about this unique paint scheme you're running here today.
Well, it's just the Diet Mountain Dew paint scheme, and it kind of mimics one of Daryl's paint schemes from years ago. And he was from Kentucky, so I guess they figured they'd bring it out here this weekend.
All right, well, we're going to see what the kid from North Carolina can do with that Kentucky famous paint scheme.
Yeah, that's the paint scheme that Darrell rode to 2 of his 3 championships in 1981 and 1982.
And that pretty much explained it. Well, it looks like Daryl's car, and he's from Kentucky, so we thought we'd drag it out here. That was a great answer. That was a great answer.
Landon Castle, no stranger to success on qualifying day, and he's done it again. 30-13 put him to the top.
You know, one thing that Landon Castle does, even though he's locked in, he really works hard on his simulator every single week on qualifying at these tracks.
So Landon Castle the quickest. Larry pointed out he was locked in. David Strimmy is not. He's the last go-or-go-homer when we return.
Tonight, the fun hits high gear when the wildest party in racing rocks the Bluegrass State as NASCAR's biggest names stop by for some fun. Don't miss NASCAR Trackside from Kentucky tonight at 11 Eastern on Speed.
Racing returns to Atlanta Motor Speedway with the biggest Labor Day party in the USA, featuring a pre-race concert by Leonard Skinner. Sunday tickets start at $39. Kids 12 and under free Friday and Saturday. Call 8779-AMS-TIX or go to AtlantaMotorspeedway.com.
Before they can do this, someone's got to do this. Start your career as a motorcycle technician at YTI in just 9 months. That's right, in just 9 months, you can get the hands-on experience you need to start a great career doing what you want. Accelerate your career in just 9 months by calling YTI right now.
Call now at 800-775-7160. That's 800-775-7160.
We now offer phone service.
The sports world unites to celebrate the best moments of the year.
I am a god!
Live at the 2011 ESPYs, hosted by Seth Meyers.
Amazing athletes here tonight. Wow.
ESPY goes to
Shaun White.
Chris Johnson. Drew Brees.
The 2011 ESPYs, Wednesday, July 13th at 9 on ESPN.
With a mix of on-air, online, and on-demand, Comcast Spotlight can target customers wherever they are. To make your presence felt, call or visit us online.
We are the face of Comcast.
I'm a perfectionist. At least I try to be.
At Comcast, we solve problems.
If we don't resolve the problem the first time,
we'll extend a courtesy service to our customers.
You're a customer, you deserve it.
If you're a new customer and you're not satisfied with our services,
you can get your money back in the first 30 days.
It's a phenomenal thing to offer to our customers.
We're only as good as our word. And our word is good.
Whether it's giving you a $20 credit if we're late or 30 days to try us out, at Comcast, we're all about the customer, and that's always guaranteed.
Here this weekend, 5 will go home. David Stremme, not one of those. He just made his qualifying run, went to 3rd, and now we know Robbie Gordon, T.J. Bell, Scott Riggs, David Starr, and Tony Raines will not race tomorrow night in the Quaker State 400. And here's Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Now, of our 35 guys that are locked into the show, and quite honestly, even some of the go-homers, it's hard to find a driver that's not competed here at Kentucky Speedway in some division. Dale Earnhardt Jr., other than a lot of testing, he's never competed here in a race.
Junior inside the top 5 right now. He's the 20th car to take time, and he goes to 3rd, 30-18 for the Diet Mountain Dew Chevrolet. He's still getting after it, isn't he, Larry?
And right now, he looks to be a little better on lap 2. All depends on how he gets through 3 and 4. Looks like he kind of eased it down in there. And I think he might pay a dividend by not overdriving turn 3, maybe just overlay his first lap.
First lap was 30-189, and the second one a 30-19. So a bit slower on lap 2. Dale Earnhardt Jr. stays in the 3rd position of those 20 that have been out. Matt?
And catching up with Michael Waltrip's special paint scheme. Impressive lap. The stress now finally off.
Yes, mainly because of a rule change now, right? I mean, my practice time gets me in if it rains, and either you're perspiring or it's starting to sprinkle. I feel a few drops. But Darrell wanted this car to be chrome. NASCAR doesn't allow chrome. So we went with the next best thing, a retro 1975 victory lane shot of Big DW grabbing that first Cup win. And that win, Matt, started him on the road to the NASCAR Hall of Fame. And coming to Kentucky a couple of weeks after he gets inaugurated and inducted, and being able to celebrate his career, it's really special for me.
The clouds are continuing to move around, guys. Sprinkles down here in the garage.
As Brian Vickers becomes the 21st car to go out for qualifying. Larry, you and I looked at each other funny when Michael said he thinks he's locked in now.
Yeah, and I don't think that's right. This qualifying session has to be completed for Michael Waltrip to be in the show, because even if they have practice, it's still determine what 43 drivers will make this show before we even get to the track. If we do not have qualifying, Michael Waltrip to 15 would not be one of them.
In fact, both he and David Stremme, as Brian Vickers turns a nice lap. How about 29.78? The first driver to go below 30 seconds. Michael Waltrip and David Stremme locked in on time right now, both in the category of drivers that would go home if in fact we got rain, and this qualifying session was not run to completion based on our understanding on the setup. And Vickers, despite being good on lap 1, going to give a go for a second lap, and it's slower, 29.84. So Vickers first with his opening lap, 29.781 seconds. That's good for 181.324 miles per hour.
Brian has one start here in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. The year he won the championship back in 2003, finished 6th. They're all looking up in the sky. Kevin Harvick and his teammate Clint Boyer.
Wednesday, Adam Carolla brings his serious love of cars and seriously funny point of view to Speed with the Car Show, and nothing is off limits. The Car Show premieres this Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific, only on Speed. Mark Martin, the 22nd driver to go out in qualifying today here at the Kentucky Speedway. Won his 50th career pole last week at Daytona for the Coke Zero 400. That was special for him, and I'm guessing Quaker State would like to win the pole here this weekend, since they've got the sponsorship of the inaugural event right here at Kentucky.
On a pretty good lap so far. Mark was one of 7 drivers that participated in a Goodyear tire test here back on June the 1st. Don't know if it's going to be good enough to knock Brian Vickers off, though, but it will be on the front row for the time being for Mark.
29.995 for Mark Martin, a driver who is double dipping this weekend. He will start 12th tonight in the nationwide race here at Kentucky. Ralph?
Well, we're getting a couple of drops down here, Adam. We also have Kevin Harvick, and the wind is picking up. How's the wind going to impact your qualifying run?
I was just telling him, I don't sit on many poles, so when I do sit on a pole, something has to happen. It was a lot like this in Indianapolis one time, and they had about 8 cars, but actually this is kind of the primo time to go, and it's just a few little drops, and the clouds are over the top, and the grip is just really high. But if it rains like it's starting to, that won't work. So it's you never know. It's just the luck of where it all hits. And our Budweiser Chevy's been all over the map. You know, we've been frustrated, happy, good, bad, however you want to put it. So who knows?
Well, he is a former winner here, so he knows something about running here at Kentucky.
He won the inaugural nationwide race back in 2001. You see the raindrops? NASCAR checking the track for moisture. We're back.
Scrap that and then put on the best show they can tonight for the fans, which is the nationwide race.
I really like the fact that the fastest cars are going to start at the front. No longer do you go to the points, because we had that practice. I love what they've done this year.
Yeah, and so the 5 guys that will go home: Michael Waltrip, David Strimmy, T.J. Bell, Robbie Gordon, David Starr. We knew that coming here this weekend. If qualifying had been rained out, now it has. And as Larry just pointed out, we revert back to that 90-minute practice session that we had earlier today to set the field for tomorrow night's race, putting Kyle Busch on the pole because he was the fastest man earlier today.
And I think he's relieved probably for a couple of reasons. One, he's going to start this race on the pole. The last time he was on the track, he busted his tail in that Nationwide Series car qualifying.
And think about this. He started last in the truck race. He's starting because he missed the driver's meet, and he's starting last in the nationwide race because he busted his rear end. And now he gets to start pole on the Cup race. So it's a perfect weekend for Kyle Busch.
Joining Kyle Busch on the front row, Juan Pablo Montoya, Kurt Busch, Casey Kane, Jimmy Johnson, Brad Keselowski, Carl Edwards, David Reagan, Tony Stewart, and Paul Menard will be the top 10 tomorrow night. It's the inaugural Quaker State 400 from Kentucky. Coming up next, it's the day, the 1984 Firecracker 400. Thanks for being with us on Speed for qualifying. So long from Kentucky.